Welcome back to the Heal and Restore podcast with your host, of course, the ever present me, Randy, but more importantly, the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes, my wonderful wife, and the best hostess with the mostest, Cathy. Yeah, I noticed she's got a new hat on over here. Yeah. See, I don't buy hats for myself anymore because she hijacks them all.
I do.
Yeah, she does.
I do. I've learned how to do that.
I mean, it's like, what do you got my Matthews archery hat on for? Where'd you find that?
Oh, because I'm such an archery hunter.
No, so my wife likes her hat, so
Yeah.
I bought her a jiu-jitsu hat, so she supports me. So,
Thank you.
anyways, so we're here. We're dedicated to helping couples and individuals, strengthen their relationships through healing, growth, and honest conversation.
Honest is true.
It's true. Right? We dive into topics like communication, forgiveness, intimacy, family, and emotional connection. Because healthy love starts with a
healed heart.
Tune in each week and take the next step toward restoring what matters most.
Yeah, that's good.
This episode is drawn from my newest book called Quit Taking Things Personally, How to Reclaim Your Peace, Communicate Clearly, and Strengthen Your Marriage. And this is it right here. I finally got our hard copy today.
Yep.
Now, let me be clear right from the start of this podcast.
Yeah.
This conversation is not about in any way minimizing your pain or excusing harmful behavior or telling you to just get over it. You'll never hear those words from us. Ever hear those words from us, right? It is about understanding why certain things affect you so deeply, how to slow your reactions, and what it looks like to respond with clarity and grace instead of emotion and offense.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, that's good.
If you've ever thought, why does this bother me so much? Why does it bother you so much? Why do you bother me so much?
Why do you bother me so much?
Why can't I just let this go?
Yeah.
Why do I keep reacting this way?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, those are those three questions. You're not broken.
Nope, not at all.
You're not broken by any means. You're human, and something inside you wants healing.
Yeah.
Is craving that healing. So let's begin there.
Wow. Okay. So this is something this is a topic we talk about a lot with our clients, something that we are always telling them, just don't take things personally. But now we're going to dive into why we take things personally, what we can do to not take personally. We're going to walk you through it.
No, it's also something you and I had to work on a lot.
Well, yeah, we can still have those moments. I think as a human being we can. So
I think just the human nature of us. So
well, let's just begin. Let's begin with all of this. So why do we take things personally? You know, most people think taking things personally means that they're just too sensitive. But honestly, that's really not true.
Matter of fact, a nurse just told me that the other day.
Really?
Yeah, she says people say I'm too sensitive.
No, you're not. No, just because you're taking things personally, that does not mean you're too sensitive. You know, taking things personally, it's usually a learned survival response.
Yes.
Something that has happened to you in the past that you've learned to protect yourself with.
Absolutely.
And then many of us grew up in environments where sometimes love felt conditional. If you do this for me, I'll love you. Or if you behave, or if you don't say these things, I'll buy you something. So love felt conditional. Sometimes we grew up in homes where emotions just weren't safe.
Not at all.
No. And sometimes our homes might have been criticism that outweighed encouragement. We might have heard more criticism in our home.
I know that all too well.
Yeah, than we've heard anything about encouragement. Or sometimes in some homes we had to stay alert, very alert, to avoid conflict or rejection. And so over time, the brain learns something that's really important. The brain is telling you, pay attention, this could hurt. So if someone does speak sharply, we pull away, criticizes, or disappoints us. The brain doesn't just process it in the moment. It's like scanning the past. It's looking at all the things that have happened in the past. And it's trying to figure out, okay, what is this telling me? What is my survival mindset at this point?
We become very hyper-vigilant.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
And then suddenly the reaction feels way bigger than what just happened.
Right. It's a reaction, not a response. That's why.
So here's the truth about all of this. You know, when everything feels personal, it's usually because something inside of us, inside of me, inside of you is still hurting. And healing doesn't start with the shame. It starts with the awareness.
Absolutely.
So we talk about this, we can't heal what we're not aware of.
Exactly.
So if we're feeling these emotions and these things are happening, that's where we're going to start our healing journey.
You know, our feelings and emotions are often a result of unmet needs.
Yeah.
I think that's what the root of them are, you know.
And that ties right into why some people take things personally, because these things aren't happening in their home, so they've learned this survival response.
And there's some survival skills I think that we learn, not that I think, I know we learned, that God innately instills in us to protect us, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, God wants us to survive. That's how, but so He's going to help us when we can't help ourselves.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about triggers. This is a tough one for people, right?
Yeah.
A trigger is not weakness, right? A trigger is an emotional memory.
Yeah.
It's your nervous system saying, "I've felt this before, and it wasn't safe."
It's very familiar.
It wasn't safe at all. Here's how you know you've been triggered. The reaction is fast. The emotion is intense, and logic disappears. It just happens just like that.
Yeah, can't think.
There's no, you don't have time to think.
Yeah, that's good.
The question isn't, why am I like this? It's, what is it touching? What is this touching inside of me?
Yeah, that's
what
good.
wound is this touching?
What wound is it?
Yeah, what wound is it? Yeah. Because here's an important truth, and in the reaction, if the reaction, is bigger than the moment isn't the issue, not the issue at all.
Yeah.
When you feel triggered, slow things down and ask yourself these questions. What just happened? What am I feeling right now? What story am I telling myself? And what does this remind me of?
Yeah, it's so good.
Not to fix it, not to judge it, just to notice it. That awareness, like we talk about all the time, we have to become aware. Awareness is the doorway to healing. Remember that. Once we become aware, then we can start working on the healing process.
The change can take place,
So remember, triggers are automatic. They're not intentional. They just happen like that. Emotional reactions happen before logic engages.
We're reacting before we can even think about how to respond.
Triggers reveal where healing is needed, not a weakness. It's not a weakness.
No, not at all.
Any state of
so good.
stretch of the imagination. Healing doesn't mean you won't get triggered. Right? It means you learn how to respond when you are. Right? Yeah, I'll go over this in just a minute.
Yeah.
And the question to ponder on this, why do I get triggered so fast? Even when I know better. So, sometimes you hear people say, your triggers aren't my responsibility. I agree. I mean, we agree
to a certain extent,
to a certain extent. But like we tell with our couples, and Cathy and I had to learn to do, first of all, I had to become aware of my triggers, and it usually came after I was triggered.
After you had an emotional response,
Right. So, but then once I become aware of my trigger, especially while we're on this healing path, then, okay, I'm aware of this. Now I have to talk to Cathy. Cathy, the other day when we were talking about A, B, C, and D, when you said it was Z and not F, it triggered me from something in my past. I just want you to be aware of it, right?
So you're engaging me in your trigger in a sense of making me aware of your trigger.
Exactly. So
you're not pointing the finger that I did that and I created the trigger. I can't help you and I can't change what's within me if I'm not aware.
Right, exactly. So all that's going to do is help Cathy, and it's not going to happen overnight. It takes a little while to respond to me in a different manner than she did at that one particular moment.
Again, being aware of something allows for the change to take place.
Emotional reactions before logic triggers reveal where healing is needed, not weakness. Here's what happens with the triggers. I've been on this journey for 20 years, and this is the important part here. Healing doesn't mean you won't get triggered. It means you learn how to respond when you are. So on the healing journey, right, you're going to be on it. Basically, the rest of your life, you have to be aware of this, right? And things in my life, I have worked on so many things, right? And then out of the blue, something triggers me. It's like, where in the world did this come from? Right? So first of all, I recognize that's a trigger that's not healthy for me. Sometimes I might react in a bad way, but Cathy and I talk, and I pick on it right away. And so it's like, how do I get out of this?
Yeah.
I now have the tools. I've been given the tools. I've been working with the
And
tools
that's something
for
we're
20
going to
years.
kind of go through here as
Right,
well, because
right.
it kind of ties into not just the triggers, but the things that we take personally
Right.
as well.
Exactly. Right.
They're all kind of melded together in a melting pot.
And this don't take things personally is a really hard concept to grasp. But when you do, you're going to find your life's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, so what we have to do is, once we realize that there's a trigger, we have to now assess the truth.
Yeah.
And so after understanding and clarifying the trigger, the next thing that comes is one of the most important steps, that is assessing the truth. Because the feelings are real. They're not pretend. They're not just, hello, I'm going to make you feel this way. But feelings, they're not always reliable.
No.
We can't just trust our feelings. So when the pain is present, the mind fills in the gaps. And if you've ever experienced this, you know what I'm talking about. It often fills them in with assumptions. And sometimes these assumptions might sound like, I'm not enough. Oh, he did that on purpose. He meant to hurt me. Or she did that on purpose. She meant to hurt me. And see, this always happens. Every time something good comes along, this happens again. Something goes bad, or I don't matter. So we create these assumptions in our head. But here's the truth. This is the grounding truth, not just the truth, but the grounding truth. Just because something feels true, it doesn't mean it's true. So we have to pause. We have to really pause. There's a lot of pausing taking place in our healing journey. But in this particular case, you want to pause and ask, what do I know for sure? What am I assuming? Is there another possible explanation? And the step really doesn't invalidate your feelings. It actually guides them. It gives you something that brings truth, and it brings clarity. And then the clarity, once we have that clarity, it calms the nervous system. And then once we have the calm, it allows for us to make a choice. It allows for us to process. It allows for us to start making sense of things and then make a choice. But one of the things we really want to remember is sensitivity isn't the issue. Not at all. Interpretation is. So you're not being sensitive. You're interpreting the thought. And the hurt doesn't equal blame. Just because we're feeling hurt doesn't mean there's blame to that. But the pain can be valid even if intent wasn't harmful. So pain can be valid even if the intent wasn't harmful at all. And then the other thing is, you can acknowledge pain without assigning guilt. It's okay to have pain, but we don't have to assign guilt to it. So I love these questions today. And this question, as we talk about assessing the truth, is how do I know if I'm being oversensitive or if something or someone is actually hurting me?
That's a great question.
Yeah. How do I know if I'm being oversensitive or if something or someone is hurting me?
I think the answer to that question is that until you started a recovery journey and sat down with somebody like Cathy and I at Hill and Restore Counseling, and we start discovering these triggers in you, right? You won't know that where they're coming from, because there's a root to everything. There's a root to all of our actions, correct? These feelings, sometimes they feel true. But why do they feel true? Because, again, we're just going to reiterate this, because, this didn't feel comfortable. I remembered this situation, not the same person, not the same exact words.
Similar feeling.
Similar feeling from my past. It feels true. It feels like it's happening all over.
We really have to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, and so kind of what's happening there is that theory where your trauma from your past, you're carrying into that moment. Subconsciously, you're not thinking that.
Yeah.
You're living in that trauma from your past at that moment in time.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Okay. And so then when that, like if I didn't think Cathy was hearing me, that reminded me of when I was a kid, when my voice was never heard or taken seriously. And that used to trigger me really bad, right? So that's where that pain comes from. And then you have to realize, no, Cathy's hearing me. She's might not be responding the way I want her to respond, right? And then so what happens too, and this is the trifecta of this, we take that trauma that we're living in today and we're forecasting it into the future.
Yep.
Right? So everything is trauma related.
Right.
Right? You're not going around thinking about it. I want you to understand that. It's at a subconscious level. Yeah. But these are the things that you've got to understand. Right? It's not your fault. It's part of it. Right? Yeah. So it's becoming aware, this isn't healthy, there's a problem, whatever. And just being aware of, oh, it happened again. Where is this really coming? And Cathy, we have these questions. Okay, and you can't always do it right in the heat of the moment, so you're going to have to take a deep breath, walk away, ask yourself, is this true? Are the thoughts that I'm thinking that this is being said, is it really true? Well, we can probably argue that it is, right? Because of whatever. The next question is it absolutely true? And that it can't be.
It's hard. It's hard to find that absolute.
So there's a lot to it when we're learning not to take things personally.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
So now
that we've kind of talked about triggers and we've got to assess the truth.
Now let's talk about offense, being offended, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Offense, being offense feels very powerful.
Yeah.
We go to it feels protective.
Yeah.
Almost, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Right? Yeah. But offense doesn't actually protect us. It imprisons us.
I just had a vision of being behind bars.
Yeah.
When I got to protect myself and I got to make sure that I'm right.
Well, and that brings up what you just said real quick one thing. And I heard it in room A one time. How many of us have never been to a physical prison, but have been living our life in an emotional prison behind those bars? That's the key. We have the key to get out of that prison.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So when we hold on to offense, right, we replay conversations.
It could have been a conversation from last week to 10 years ago.
Or in your childhood.
Right? Yeah.
Right? We rehearse arguments.
I'm giggling because I can just totally feel like we've been in this place before.
If I say this, she's going to say that, and then we're going to say,
oh yeah.
We stay emotionally guarded.
Yep.
So we got our walls up. We're not really going to let people in. And peace becomes conditional.
Right.
Right? Upon certain things. Here's the hard but healing truth.
Okay. Right. Let's talk about it.
Offense promises power, but delivers prison.
Keeps us stuck.
It keeps us stuck in that wall. You're wrong, I'm right, and until you can see that, I'm just going to be mad and whatever. You must not like me, you must hate me.
Right.
Letting go of offense does not mean what happened didn't matter, because it does. The pain wasn't real, because it was. Or the person gets a free pass. Right?
Yes.
This is important for you to remember. Forgiveness is not approval. That forgiveness is for you, not the other person. Forgiveness is release. We forgive for ourselves to release us from the bondage that person has over us.
Right. Or that thought.
Or that thought. Whatever. I was in prison for 38 years because I would never forgive my stepfather and my mother. And it kept me in this vicious prison that was not fun.
Yeah, right? No.
Forgiveness, this is really important. You can say I forgive, but the true, deep, healing, heartfelt forgiveness is a process. It's not a moment.
Yeah. And
how long that process takes, it's going to be different for everybody, depending on the amount of pain that is caused.
Yeah.
I mean, Cathy and I, as married couples, we forgive each other almost automatically several times in a day just because of little tiny things, right?
Good.
So sometimes we let go layer by layer.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how my forgiveness journey was, right? It's just layer by layer.
And forgiving it at the same time.
It, right? I had good mentors, I had a good therapist that worked with me, made things really made a lot of things make a lot of sense to me. It brought me some clarity,
which allowed you to process through that forgiveness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forgive daily, right? And those are probably the little things. Sometimes we forgive with boundaries, and that is absolutely.
It's actually quite okay.
because you forgive somebody does not mean, well, if you're married, the general theme of it is
Right.
just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you got to allow them back in your life. But that goes to another level of hurt, not within a marriage.
Right.
All right. Here's another question to ponder. I've been holding offense for years. How do I actually let it go?
Yeah, that would be tough. That's a lot.
So
It's a long time to hold on to an offense.
here's 3 great things to answer that question, right?
Okay.
Number 1, name what you're holding on to.
Call it what it is.
Call it what it is, right? Acknowledge the cost to you emotionally and spiritually.
What is it doing to you physically, emotionally, spiritually? What is it doing to your relationship, your family? Oh my gosh, you can go on and on and on. It's a costly offense to hold on to.
And generally, when we're holding on to those things, we're the only one. The person that has offended us doesn't even know. They don't even know, right? Yep. And then this is the important part. Everything's a choice. You start choosing to release it, one layer at a time. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes it's just this. Okay, Randy. Okay, Cathy. I'm going to forgive him just for today.
Right.
Perfect. That's all we have.
Yep.
Just for today.
Good job.
You're going to go home tonight and things are going to fire up and then you're going to be mad again.
Okay. Then
Perfect.
Let go tomorrow. Release it again tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, forgiveness, like we talked about, it is a process. It takes time, but this is also where grace comes in.
Yes.
Grace is so necessary. They go hand in hand. They really do, because grace is really not a weakness.
No.
It's actually a strength under control. Yes. It's a strength under control. You're in control of the grace. You're not in control of the chaos, but you're in control of the grace.
It shows you're stronger than the problem.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And when we have grace, it allows us to respond instead of react. When we're reacting, it says, I need to protect myself right now. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna cover up. I've got to protect myself.
Or I'm gonna fight back.
Right. Or fight back, yeah. And then responding says, I'm grounded enough to choose my next step. I'm taking the time to think about what my next step will be.
And that next step might be walking away from the conversation to gather your thoughts, right?
Yeah, and so when we're in grace, it might sound like, I need a moment before I respond. Perfect. Or it could be, this really stirred something up in me. I want to understand it more.
That's a great self-reflection question. That's a great self-reflection question.
Yeah, and you might even say, when you're extending graces, I'm not attacking you. I'm just sorting myself out.
Yes.
Again, self-reflection. Mm-hmm. I've got to figure this out for myself.
And when we do that, we're protecting not only ourselves, but we're protecting the other person.
Yeah.
We're protecting the relationship or the marriage.
Yeah, yeah. And here's something that's really important. We talked about this a little bit in forgiveness too, but grace does not remove boundaries. Mm-hmm. It actually strengthens them. So grace and forgiveness don't remove the boundaries. Right. It actually strengthens them. And then the grace also keeps you emotionally regulated and self-respecting. And that's key. Self-respecting
is huge.
I'm going to respect myself enough to extend grace to you so that I don't respond or react in a way that is unhealthy for me and will hurt you.
And for unhealthy for the relationship.
And the relationship,
Right.
Yeah, so here's another thought to think about. What if I forgive, but that other person keeps hurting me? I'm sure we've been in those boats. What if I forgive, but they hurt me?
Well, that's when a boundary comes in.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing we have to remember, and you talked about this briefly. Forgiveness does not equal access. Just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean they have access to that relationship.
That's right.
That is a boundary.
They keep hurting you over and over.
Yeah. And then, like we said before, grace really doesn't eliminate the boundaries.
Absolutely
the boundary's still
not.
there. It's up to you to uphold it. Grace extends that boundary for you to uphold. And then healing requires both compassion and wisdom. You can forgive without staying emotionally exposed. So that's when you want to have compassion for yourself, compassion for the other, and wisdom, so that you can make a choice. You can make a choice that is going to give you that opportunity to forgive without staying emotionally exposed.
Exactly.
Know when you have exposed yourself and when you need to pull back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I think is beautiful is forgiveness heals your heart, but boundaries protect your future. And that was something that I thought was so beautiful, is that forgiveness heals your heart, boundaries protect your future.
Yes, right.
So let's talk about boundaries. Let's reframe them for a minute, just so we can make sure that we've talked about them a little bit. But remember, boundaries aren't punishment.
Nope.
Boundaries are clarity. It's making point A, point B very clear and everything in between. And then the boundaries, of course, they create that emotional safety that we desire. Boundaries are so important to have for yourself and for the health of a relationship.
Important thing to understand is the boundaries are not for the other person. The
No.
boundaries are for
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
to protect yourself. And a lot of people don't understand that. Well, what are you setting a boundary for? I'm doing it to protect myself.
And in protecting ourselves, it also protects the relationship.
Protects the relationship.
Yeah.
Grace and forgiveness. And some more, this time grace and forgiveness, right? This is the turning point.
Yep. It's where everything happens.
It's where everything happens. And believe it or not, when you finally reach this point, it happens fast.
When you melt grace and forgiveness together.
When you melt them together, healing accelerates when truth and grace meet. This releases control.
Amen.
You had no control over what that person said or what that person did to us, right? So we just got to let it go. We can't change it. We can't take it back. We just got to release the control of trying to take all that back and saying, if you'd have just not done this, right?
Release the control it has on you.
Right. Grace then restores the peace within us.
Beautiful.
Right? Yeah. And peace returns when we stop carrying what no longer serves us.
Yeah.
So what are we holding on to that's really not serving us?
Just causing more destruction, more chaos within us.
And remember, God is peace and serenity and calmness. The devil is chaos, confusion, and hurt and pain and anger, right? So here's the truth to remember. Forgiveness does not change the past. It changes the future.
Yeah.
And firsthand, for a guy that held on to unforgiveness for 38 years in a bad way, the day I finally got to that point, it changed my life 180 degrees.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? You don't forgive. You do not forgive. Understand, do not forgive because someone deserves it.
Yeah.
You forgive whether they deserve it or not. A lot of times they don't deserve to be forgiven.
Right.
But again, the forgiveness is for you, and the Bible tells us if you want to be forgiven, you must forgive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, you forgive. You forgive because you and you alone deserve peace.
Yeah.
That's the key to it.
Yeah.
And some of this might be hard to grasp in this thing right now. And it will be until you actually can get to that point and you start feeling that peace, right?
Yeah, and once you do, it's like, why didn't I do this sooner sometimes?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So remember, there's something really important to remember. Remember, your spouse may touch the wound. And Cathy's touched it plenty of times, and I've touched hers plenty of times in the past. But they didn't always create it.
That's true.
The
wound started long before that relationship.
So a couple of practical marriage tools. Speak from ownership, not accusation.
Take responsibility for self.
Do not accuse. Do not ask accusational questions. Just go into a whole other podcast.
So what would that sound like?
If you're speaking from ownership, this stirred something in me.
Yeah, that's good.
Versus, you stirred all this crap up inside of me. What's wrong with you? Right? But this stirred something up in me.
That's taking ownership.
Right? Then I need a moment to sort this out. Instead of just get out of here, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you ever again. Right? And this isn't about attacking you. It's about understanding me. Right?
Yeah.
Because until we can understand ourselves and what's going on, our partner will never understand it.
Yeah.
Right? That's at a point this will become vulnerable and transparent and take a lot of risks. Because once I can figure out, Cathy's heard me do this several times there. Once I figure out what it was, then I go back to Cathy with my tail between my legs, very humbly, and I say, "This is what happened," blah blah blah, and then we work on changing.
Yeah, that's really good. So as we close, there's a couple things. One thing we want you to do is to remember this: is taking things personally doesn't mean you're broken.
No,
it really means you learned how to survive. But then we want to get to the place of healing. And so healing begins when we can get curious instead of critical. And I think, survival mechanisms have created this critical thinking within us, but we need to get curious instead of critical. We've got to remove the critical mindset and create a curious mindset.
The type we always talk about. Listen with curiosity so you can ask curious questions.
Right. We need to do that within ourselves.
Right,
first.
exactly.
In ourselves, for ourselves.
Right, exactly.
We need to be honest instead of reactive.
Yep.
That again, self-reflection, looking at yourself. Don't react to a situation. Take some time. Get honest with yourself. And we need to be grounded instead of defensive. Grounded instead of defensive. How different would our life be? So here's a few questions. This is a good journaling prompt for this week. And so here's a few questions that you can ask yourself. And it may take a quiet space, quiet time. Get your book, get your journal, get your pen, your paper, and just ask yourself these questions. What tends to trigger me the most? What tends to trigger me the most? There might be some that you are fully aware of, and then there may be some that'll be hidden, that'll come out in the most inopportune times.
This next question is really good.
Yeah, and then this is the question that really takes self-reflection is, what belief do I need to question? What belief do I need to question?
Yeah, because, you've got to get, I'm going to say it like this, you got to get the pace of desperation in order to really want to change, right?
Yeah.
So then that question, what belief do I need to question, right, is one of self-reflection that you got to really look at. And here's what people are afraid of. Self-reflection, then we write it down on a piece of paper and it becomes real. Now we have to do something about it. Don't be afraid. Yeah. It's okay.
That's where that's the honesty and the healing. Those two go hand in hand.
Yes, it is.
And then the third question you can ask yourself is, what offense am I ready to begin releasing?
Yes.
I think if we're honest, we all have some bigger than others, but we all have offenses, or we've been hurt in our life, and we need to be able to release those so that we can continue on our healing journey.
In the best way, here's a really easy way to start releasing those. You got big offenses and you got little offenses. Don't go for the big one first. No. Start releasing the little ones.
They empower you.
They're going to empower you to do it. You release one and say, oh, that felt pretty good. And then you just keep on climbing up the ladder that way.
And so you do those one step at a time.
Right.
One truth at a time.
Right.
And one grace-filled response at a time. So if there's one thing that we hope you take away from today's episode, it's going to be this. And just as a reminder, taking things personally, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means something inside you wants to be healed. Yeah. Triggers point us towards growth. I know they're hard, but they point us towards growth. Truth brings us clarity. Letting go brings freedom. And grace, especially towards yourself, changes everything. So if this episode resonated with you, we are going to invite you to continue the journey and pick up Randy's book. And this is his most recent release. He's always writing, but Quit Taking Things Personally. It's how to reclaim your peace, communicate clearly, and strengthen your marriage. That can be strengthened in all relationships as far as that goes. So whether you read one chapter or work through it slowly, it really happens one step at a time. And you can find this book, Quit Taking Things Personally. It's currently available on Amazon. It's available in both paperback and Kindle, and soon it will be available on Audible.
And the one thing about this book, too, is after every chapter, there's some journaling prompts for self-reflection questions at the end of every chapter.
Yeah, that'll be a great.
So it's another
one.
Way you can read it and then do some self-reflection.
And I will add to that if you pick up this book, or if you've picked it up already, or if you're going to pick it up after listening to this podcast, we would love your feedback on that. So drop us a line either through our website at healandrestorecounseling.com or through our email at healandrestorecounseling@gmail.com. We would love to hear your input and your takeaways from this book.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we would. So, as we close out this episode, we want to remind you that Heal and Restore Counseling is here to support
you we are.
Throughout the year. If you're struggling in a relationship or carrying unresolved hurt from your past, please remember you're not alone.
Right.
Sometimes we feel like it's only happening to us, but I promise you it's not.
Yeah.
But here at Heal and Restore Counseling, we offer a no-cost Take advantage of this.
Mhm.
No cost 1 hour discovery session where you can share what you're navigating and begin identifying your goals for healing and growth. Again, this session is available for both couples, individuals, and is designed to be safe, supportive space to take that first step forward. One more time, it's no cost to you.
Right.
So don't lose hope. Healing can begin today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Schedule your discovery session at www.healandrestorecounseling.com.
Yeah, just go on there. We'll get a message will come through to us, and within 24 hours we'll be reaching out to you to schedule
Yes, that's the one thing why we've got so many clients is they say you're usually the first, if not the only one that responds to our request.
So we will not ignore you.
Nope,
that is
not
for sure.
at all. Exactly. So, is that it, babe?
That's
That
everything.
was it. This jiu-jitsu.
I like the hat. Looks pretty good.
It's kind of nice.
Mhm.
I saw it. I thought about you right away.
Yeah, I know you did.
I know. See
I appreciate
how I am?
that.
I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
Oh, remember this, everybody. If nobody tells you they love you, Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Have a great week.